Association of Realtors listing agreement, which we do use when working with the sellers. And if you look at the term compensation on page 465, line 66, paragraph 6, compensation. Seller will compensate broker as specified below for procuring a buyer who is ready, willing, and able to purchase the property or any interest in the property on the terms of this agreement or at any other terms acceptable to seller. Seller will pay broker X% or dollars for performance. And again, if you want the specifics, go to line 98 on page 465. If seller refuses or fails to sign an offer at the price and terms stated in this agreement, or defaults on executed contract, or agrees with the buyer to cancel an executed contract if within X days of its termination date, seller does transfer or contracts to transfer property or any interest in the property to any prospects with whom seller, broker, or any real estate licensee communicated regarding the property prior to termination date. So therefore, it is clearly agreed upon contractually. This is civilly. So again, I, broker of, I don't know, real estate, can sue the seller for my rightful commission as agreed upon. So again, I brought the buyer at 300 grand, which is what they were asking. The buyer said yes, and the seller said no. I can go to civil court and sue the seller. If they don't pay my brokerage fee, I can sue them, okay? I can sue them. That is my recourse as a broker. Now again, commercials, these are open listings, rarely put in writing, and these listings have to actually close. We do not use our normal listing agreements with sellers in commercial. Those are for residential. Again, so commercial, got to close. Residential, find that ready, willing, and able buyer who can prove they're ready, willing, and able today to purchase the rights. Now again, the brokerage fee is a negotiable. There's no set brokerage fee in the state of Florida, nor the United States. Why? We're a free market economy. And under free market in the United States, commissions are negotiable. There's no set commission rate. The 6% is a long history story which we don't have time for, which started in Canada, actually. But again, you, the licensee, can only be employed by your, can only be compensated for any service of real estate, a bar sale, by your employing broker. And again, you are an agent of your employing broker. You may be employed by one broker at any one time. Now again, because the relationships are brokerage and seller, and a licensee is not part of the transaction, if the seller does not pay the brokerage, the licensee cannot take civil action against the seller because they cannot prove to a court that they have a relationship with the seller. It is that of the broker. But again, we have civil contracts with our sales associates, and our sales associates may sue us for their portion of the fee per our civil, not regulated administrative contract. Now again, a lis pendens is a term you must know. It's in your glossary. It's a notice of legal action against property rights. Now, in the state of Florida, there's no residential allowance for leasing properties unless it has been agreed upon in writing by the party paying the brokerage fee at the time of the transaction. Now again, in a free market economy, everything is negotiable. You know, funny enough, I have this wonderful girlfriend. I take her shopping with me all the time. And we go into the department stores. And, you know, she checks out that the clothing I wear looks nice on me. And then when I go to pay, she starts opening her mouth. And the associate at whichever store says, sir, this will be X dollars, which is on the price tag. And you know what her remark is? What? That is the suggestion. You got a lot of these. And if you want to get rid of one today, you know, it's kind of like your flowers the day after Mother's Day.
We're still busy. People forget they can't get the
You're
delivery.
going to stay busy for weeks.
Right, we're
You know,
still busy.
There's one,
No
the
such
worst
thing.
thing you
How
can
about
do.
the Christmas ornaments? That would probably be a
Christmas
better.
ornaments, let's use that.
They're
not
Okay, it doesn't
perishable.
matter. But again, day-old bread
Day-old bread.
is exactly like
Better
day-old bread.
reference.
You don't pay the fresh price, you pay a reduced price, right? I love goldfish from Pepperidge Farm. There's a Pepperidge Farm outlet. I can get a carton for the price of one little bag. But they're all expired. And now that they're expired, they don't get full market value, right?
Right.
So again, everything's negotiable. The Sherman-Clayton Antitrust Acts, these are two acts that were passed by the legislature to discourage, by law in the United States, price fixing against competitors. It had to do with railroads and coal mines at the time, fixing prices among competitors who were not competing. But it deals with any commodity in the United States, must be competitively priced. Again, no uniform rates or fees. Again, my fees are higher than most, not lower. And when people shop me, I say, how's it been going for you so far? You've gone for the least expensive. Keep going. But you charge so much, but I get it done. You want to keep looking, you want to keep offering your property, or do you want to get rid of it, or get into it? You're a professional, I'll give you all the stuff, but you're going to pay for my expertise. You're going to pay a lot. So again, competing brokers, you know that 6% number is bandied about. Well, if I'm doing $1 billion transaction, which can happen, I would love to get 6%, but I'll settle for a half.
You'd settle for one.
And actually, oh, I'd love one on $1 billion. Yeah, it's called Lotto.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we cannot discuss how to charge. This is a competitive market. Commissions are negotiable. Again, no price fixing allowed. This is the United States free market economy. And in perception of that, one can, one's committed federal crime. Now again, illegal commissions. One of the duties in all brokerage relationships is honesty and fairness. Disclose known facts that could affect value, correct? So again, I find a property and the seller is not well educated, and I feel I can convince them that their property is worth so much less. Well, I don't disclose that it's been rezoned for commercial, and their corner lot as a residential property would not be valuable, with a corner lot as a fast food franchise or a gas station or a bank would be 4 or 5 times the value, right? So we don't disclose that. We earn our brokerage fee, or we buy it using a straw buyer. We could be disciplined for not dealing honestly and fairly and not disclosing known facts that affect the value of real property rights. Now again, we're going to get into kickbacks very briefly. A kickback are any monies paid to a broker to a party who's not a party to the transaction. They are legal with many, many caveats. Number one is, and we'll discuss this on Thursday in Chapter 12. This is called the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. The Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act strictly makes any unearned monies in a closing illegal by federal law. Again, if I refer a mortgage lender I cannot be compensated unless duly licensed. And if duly licensed, I must provide a service from the application fee all the way through, something that means I've earned my money. I just can't say, I use ABC Title Company, keep paying me, ABC Title Company, otherwise you won't get my business. That's illegal. And it really protected the buyer-borrower. That's the federal law passed in 1974, under which we have to have some understanding too. And again, it is not illegal to perform other services and be paid, but it is illegal to not perform the service and be paid. Now again, how do you like the idea of earning money without even working? Yeah, you can. These are called referral fees. Now, again, I work my farm when I used to farm, but I am not working in an area because I am trusted by my consumers to get the best for them, not the best for me. The best for me comes from them being satisfied. So I had a former customer. They had bought a house in Davie, Florida. This is the example. However, they found Davie was not where they wanted to live. They wanted to move up to Vero Beach. Am I going to show property to a customer in Vero Beach? No, because that's not an area I'm familiar with. So I referred an expert who was an expert in the Vero Beach market, and I said, if you'll pay me X% of what you collect when the buyer buys, you will get the referral of John Smith. John Smith ended up buying a property in Vero Beach. Now, what was in it for me? I was the listing agent on the property that he sold. And I got a 25% referral fee from the Vero Beach brokerage. In addition to that, he got really tired of Vero Beach. He found out it gets cold there. Colder than Davie. Back to Davie, first a rental, then a property, and by the way, he refers all of his people to me. That's how you get business here. Referrals, referrals, referrals. Who should I deal with? Sam Schmo or whoever? The reputable one who took good care of me. Now, here's the thing, and this will be on your test. Okay? We are allowed legally to cooperate with other brokers who are from other states. So let's say Nellie is a New York real estate broker, and Nellie has a customer from New York who wants to buy a condo in the South Beach. It's my farm. So she contacts me and says, you know, Nellie from New York, I have Manny from Manhattan. And Manny from Manhattan wants to buy a condo. Well, send Manny down. She said, you know what? I don't want to send him down. I want to get out of New York for a while. It's cold here. It's miserable. I hear it's beautiful in Florida. Can I come down? Sure, knock yourself out. And I'll help them with the transaction. And my remark is, do you have a Florida real estate license? Nope. You can't be involved in the transaction. Tell you what, you go to the beach, I'll take care of the customer, okay? And this is how it works. Again, the licensee from New York, Nellie from New York, may not perform any service that leads to the transaction closing in the state of Florida. The introduction, Nellie introduces Manny from Manhattan to me, and now I'm dealing with that customer, and I'm paying 25% or whatever agreed upon, because these are negotiable, to Nellie's brokerage, because Nellie is a licensed broker in New York. But Nellie better take a walk and enjoy Lincoln Road, shop and use the beach, or whatever she wants to do, and not get involved in the real estate transaction.
I'm sorry, so you pay the brokerage, would Nellie get a piece from her brokerage then?
Nellie is the broker of record of Nellie's New York brokerage, right? Or a sales associate working for a licensed real estate brokerage, which has an active license in any state, okay? But the key point is, the compensation that we can give to the broker cannot be given if they illegally participate in a real estate transaction. They may get a referral fee and share our brokerage fee per civil negotiation. And again, a gift is compensation. I'll buy you dinner. You know what, you flew down here with the customer, you got them cemented to me. I'll pay you plane fare. Compensation. Now again, referral fees, the only unlicensed party with whom we may share our compensation is with someone who's a buyer to the transactions. Many times buyers want us to help them with developers because the developer, their agents work adversarially, right? So I will say, I will I'll register you as my customer, and please, when, I'll keep a monitor, I'll keep an eye on the transaction, even though I don't work for the developer, I'll act as your agent. This is where I would act as an agent for the buyer, because the developer has their own agents who work for them, and the developer is working for themselves. So when there's an adversary already in the transaction, now it's our time to jump into agency, not brokerage. You see how it's starting to work? Is it starting to make a little sense to you now? Yeah. So again, we just fully disclosed to all interested parties. Developer, I am sharing my part of the brokerage fee that you're paying me with my buyer. That is perfectly legal as long as disclosed to all parties to the transaction. There's no illegal act of sharing a brokerage fee with a customer. Now, just briefly to finish the chapter, there are what are called policy and procedure manuals. Many brokerages, though not required by law. If I'm a broker and I'm my only sales associate and the broker, I don't need to give myself a policy and procedure manual, believe it or not. And small brokerages rarely have these because they're very tiny. But big brokerages need them because they need to create a standardization of practice and also a level to be attained to gain more of the commission as we become more of an asset to the brokerage, right? The idea of bringing in sales associates is not to just use them up, but to have them build their own business through you, right? So again, policy and procedures manual provide guidance. I'll tell you, the manual will tell you when we go from 40% to 50%, when we go from 50 to 60, on and on, what level of performance you have to reach. And I've written this down so it's not open to question. Not required by law, but it does create harmony in the brokerage so there are no false expectations of clients. And again,
equitable.
pardon me?
And it's equitable. It's equitable. If you treat.
Well, when you
treat
have a
everyone the same.
transaction, the word equitability is rarely used. But without equitability, there can't be a good transaction. If someone's getting hurt on the other side, then you might get the money, but your reputation.
No, I'm talking about the manual is.
It's all about equitability. Transaction brokerage is about equitability. Agency is about equitability. If one party is not protected and the other party is working fully in their best interest, they've got to be protected through agency. That's why I'm saying there's no best, no worst. They're usable in certain circumstances. When I see a developer, I know the buyer needs representation above and beyond transactional. When I see seller and buyer, it's best for both to be transactional. Best for both. What's best for the customer within my business model, right? But it's got to be satisfactory to the business model of the brokerage too. And again, document relationship, please be aware there are certain regulations regarding the regulated broker. We keep all documents that result in a contract for a minimum of 5 years. And if there's court litigation, 2 years after that. Now remember, buyer and seller in the normal relationship, they hate each other, right? They're at arm's length. They're adversaries. Again, fiduciary, the broker as agent is the employee and agent of the principal. They cannot be at arm's length with their principal. They must fully be working in their, representing
Yeah.
in best interest of principal, not middle transaction. Again, caveat emptor, that's between these two unregulated parties. Again, when a customer enlists the services of the broker, remember this, honesty and fairness are required. Put a halo over that broker as to how you should behave. Get your halo on. Buyer and seller are adversaries. Broker is never an adversary completely because of the duties in all brokerage of honesty and fairness to all parties, even our adversaries in the transaction. And folks, that completes chapter 4. Now, I'll give you 10 minutes to do questions, then I'm going to go through those questions, and I got a few in my pocket that